Welcome to the Career Musician Podcast, episode 173. And much like this killer fretless nylon string guitar that I'm holding, things are uncertain in life, right? I have to give a big shout out to Genta, who made this nylon string fretless guitar. It's a beauty, and I just picked it up at NAMM. Stay tuned because I am going to do a full video on this thing alone. And man, just to talk about how awesome it is and how I plan to use it for my film scoring needs, which is very cool because this embodies a lot of different instruments from around the world all in one. Okay, so speaking of uncertain frets, right? You don't know where you're going to play. You're like, oh, shoot. Where's the fret mark? Life can be like that, especially in the music business and in the creative arts. So here's what I want to say. This is an excerpt from my book, ETHOS, The Career Musician's Code, or a new working title that I've been messing with, ETHOS, 5 game changers every musician must know to make money making music. So I'm thinking about that. 5 game changers every musician must know to make money making music. Thinking about doing a retitle with a new cover art, but I would love to hear from you about that. So please drop your comments below and let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's chop it up. Well, in ETHOS, I talk about something that is really, really important as a self-employed, independent contracting musician. And I call it CYO, Chief You Officer. Now, if you think about it, a C-suite organization like you see in big corporations have a CEO, Chief Executive Officer. That's the top down, right? That's the top dog. Whoever is in that position is like, hey, this is what we're going to do. These are our plans for the future. And they usually are a visionary. They have a very macro view of how to plan their business, how to attack their business needs and tasks, right? How to put together teams and best organize all of the resources that are available to them. And then underneath them, they have a bunch of other C-suite positions. So you have COO, Chief Operations Officer, or CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, or CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and so on and so on and so on. Well, like I said, the excerpt from the book ETHOS, it's around page 78, I want to say, is CYO. And what do I mean by that? Chief You Officer. Because here's the deal. As a musician, as a professional musician, you don't have a boss, technically. When you're on a gig, yes, you have a boss for that gig. So if there's a music director that you're answering to as a member of the band, that's your boss for that gig. If you're working for an artist for that gig or for that session, yes, that's your boss, or a producer or a composer, and the list goes on and on and on. If you're teaching at a facility and you have supervisors and people above you, yes, those are your bosses. But at the end of the day, here's the reality of it. As an independent contractor, you're on your own, kid. So here's what I'd like to say. Think about having a boss. You don't have anybody breathing down your neck, looking over your shoulder. No regional manager, no general manager, no supervisors. So who's going to do the managing? Who's going to have the macro view? It all falls on you. Who's going to do the day-to-day tasks? Who's going to execute the plan? It all falls on you. Who's going to look out for your best interest? That falls on you. Who's going to negotiate the best possible rate for everything you do, gig, session, or otherwise? That also falls on you. Who's going to collect the money? The collections. Oh my gosh. Companies, corporations have whole departments and buildings and hundreds and thousands of people working in collections. Heck, there are corporations that just do collections. And stay tuned for that because we're going to get into a really cool episode about how to collect your money, because there are corporations out there that do that for you, and they do it for independent contractors just like us. So be on the lookout. That will be coming soon. Whew, that's a lot, right? And then the list goes on and on and on and on and on. It doesn't stop. Well, here's what I'm going to say from the book. As a one-person company, it could be a juggling act to keep every department running smoothly. This is where scheduling your day in modules will prove useful. Make it a point to only focus on one task at a time, and you'll be much more efficient. Let me just read that last thing again. This is so important. Make it a point to only focus on one task at a time, and you'll be much more efficient. And then we go on to talk about SOPs. Who knows what an SOP is? Ding, ding, ding. All right, we're going to get into that in the future as well, so stay tuned for more. But basically, an SOP is a standard operating procedure. And this means really a set of guidelines or rules or bullet points, okay, or task organizers that you use to achieve an intended goal, right? To achieve an outcome. Okay, so that's an SOP. We'll get more into that. But right now, I want you to think modularly. For instance, think about this guitar, all right? You can't just say, I'm going to build a guitar, and I'm just going to start, and it's going to all come together at once. No, you have to modularize it. You have to say, well, first, I'm going to build the body. And you can't build the whole body at once. You say, well, what wood am I going to use for the top? What wood am I going to use for the back? By the way, look at this beautiful finish here. Now they use 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, but also they have this little binding, so that might be 5. My goodness. And then what are you going to use for the sides? See, they had to do that in modules. You can't just say, I'm going to build the body all at once. No. Well, first step, pick the woods. Second step, decide what's going to be the top, what's going to be the bottom, what's going to be the sides, what's going to be the layout, right? Third step, how do we bind them together? Okay, so it's a modular process. Then we're going to focus on the neck. How do we build the actual neck back here, and then the fretboard wood and so forth, and the headstock, and how are we going to carve it? So it's modular, and that's how I want you to think about your career. For instance, I love on your smartphone, I love the little Notes app. I go to the Notes app on a daily basis, and I just have a thing that says to do. But then I modularize it, say that 10 times fast, right? So I have a priority, like this is the shit I gotta do today. If I don't get this, like an important medical bill that I have to take care of, or even a credit card because you don't want to pay interest, or shoot, I have to pay the mortgage or rent today. Super important, right? Or don't forget to pick up your kids from daycare, whatever it is, right? Those are your priority things. Then I have my work. Okay. And then in work, I'll have, sessions. Do I have any sessions that have deadlines that I got to send out my deliverables? And then for work, I might have gig or gig prep. Do I have any gigs coming up that I got to prepare for? And then I might have teaching, right? If I'm working on some lesson plans or if I'm grading. And in each of these little modules, I put those little bubbles. And the little bubbles next to each task. And when I complete a task, I click the bubble. When I see that check mark go into the bubble, the world is lifted off my shoulders. I feel amazing. My friends, guess what I'm doing? I'm practicing good CYO technique. Chief You Officer. You are in charge. You're the boss. You call the shots. You make the moves, and you do all the necessary shit to keep your ass alive. So, now that we've established that, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to take a sheet of paper, digital or analog, up to you. And I want you to write out all the stuff that's swimming around in your brain. I don't care what it is. Buy groceries. Pick up that new guitar. Study bassoon because I can already play the oboe, but now I want to get better on bassoon. Like seriously, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Write everything down. Then put them in compartments. Say, okay, this is all my personal stuff. Change the kids' diapers. Get milk, whatever it is. That's personal stuff. Do the bills for this month, all personal. Then I want you to make another category, business. Put all that shit in there about business. Oh, I got to build my contact list that Nomad talked about, the CRM, the contact relationship management tool, right? I got to build that. That's in business. I got to reach out to Nathan East because he hit me up for a gig and I'm so grateful and I can't wait to get the details. Whatever it is, okay? Put that in business. Maybe you have some admin stuff you have to do. Okay, get that in business. Then creative. Oh man, I've been working on this album for 4 years. I have 12 songs. I can't wait to finish it. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Nomad y los guapos malos. And I can't wait to complete this thing because actually it's been longer than 4 years and it's going to be dope. But that's something that goes in your creative box, okay? Your creative bin. And then you take all this stuff and now they're sorted in bins. Now you say, okay, let me look at this and let me prioritize. Let me take 1 to 3 items from each bin and put this into a to-do list. And this is the daily to-do list that I'm talking about with the little bubbles. So personal, business, creative. Put the little bubbles, 1 to 3 items in each category, in each module. And start there, my friends. And that's what you do on a daily basis. Check in with that to-do list. Because you ever look at your phone and it says, you logged X amount of screen hours this week. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I looked at my phone that much, right? So we're looking at our phones a lot. Emails, texts, phone calls, games, you name it, we're on the phones, okay? Any kind of apps, and let's not even get into social. I didn't even hit social media apps yet. So you already have your phone in your hand. Access this to-do list all the fucking time. There's no excuses. Oh, I didn't see your call. I didn't see your text. Bullshit. Your phone's in your hand 24/7. I don't want to hear it. You have time. Your phone's right here. It's right fucking here in your face, okay? So look at that list every day, constantly. Reorganize things, move things around. Say, this isn't that much of a priority, I realized after I got into the day. Or this week, I need to move this around. Or you get a hot call or a hot DM or a hot text and like, yo, I need you for a session on Friday. It pays $1,200. You going to be there? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So you can reorganize things. You can change things around, move things around. But this is what you have to do to be successful in today's day and age, really in any day and age. Look, I came up in the 90s and early 2000s as a session touring guitar player. And these are the things, these are the tactics that I use, because really these are tactical, okay? Now, strategy is zooming out, building your overall POA, your plan of attack, your vision board, okay? Your mind's eye, your workflow, your mindset, all those things you're zooming out and you're trying to figure out how I'm gonna build those things and what it's gonna look like. And then tactical is when you zoom in. And you're like, well, my workflow, vision board says this. Now, how am I really going to dissect that? My POA says this. How am I going to dissect that into daily agenda tasks that I can actually get accomplished? This, my friend, is the most important step. And might I say this? Fuck everything else, man. Stop worrying about your Spotify streams and your followers on all the platforms. And just count your royalties as a bonus. If you are lucky enough to be getting royalties, I don't care even if you get $35. You know what? That $35 royalty check, you know what that's going to do? It's going to take you and your daughter out to IHOP for breakfast. Well, that'll pay for maybe 75% of the breakfast because the breakfast is actually going to be probably closer to $50, maybe $60. So you see what I'm saying? I don't care what it is. When I get a check, a royalty deposit in my account, I'm like, woohoo, I got some royalties, babe. And, sometimes it's a Trader Joe's run. Sometimes it's putting a full tank of gas on my truck. Sometimes it pays half of a bill. Sometimes it might pay rent. You never know. So just count all that stuff as a bonus. Don't focus on that. Focus on the shit that you need to do right now for compounded results. Because if you do it every day, consistency leads to mastery. So if you do something over and over and over again, eventually you're going to master that thing. Just like you got really good on your instrument. Now, geez, I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to master this fretless nylon. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So get these tasks done, put them on your notes app, focus every day on being a CYO, a Chief You Officer, because you are managing you are supervising you, and you are building your career. It's all on you, my friend, but guess what? Woo! Just like eventually I'm going to get this fretless nylon, you are going to get the hang of this. And I'm living proof. I'm 52 years old. I said it there. Whoa, I can't believe I said 52 out loud to you guys. Yes, I'm 52, but I'm grateful to still be here. And I'm living proof that you can do it, gang. Listen, I didn't really know all the steps when I was younger and just starting out, but I kind of pieced them together over time. I did a lot of forensics work, like of, researching other people, R&D, research and development. I researched those who came before me, and then I developed my own plan, and here I am today. If I can do it, you can do it. We can all do it. There's enough to go around. CYO, Chief You Officer. Just tell people. Just be candid. Just be open. Just be honest. And you never know. Somebody might just be like, yeah, I'll hire you. Let's go. CYO, Chief You Officer. ETHOS, the career musician. Oh.